Hey guys, Tommy the Tumor Day. Yeah, okay. 2 left. After today, only 1. I know what you're thinking. Oh, thank God. I thought these were never going to end. Today is about recovery. Okay, if you watched the last one, you know they had left me in the bowels of the hospital to rot and decay when the door burst open and my knight in shining armor comes rushing in on his white steed, hair blowing in the wind, saying, "Where is my damsel? I must rescue her." And he did. So that takes me to today. Today, on this video, not today legitimately, because obviously I'm sitting in the privacy of my home with the windows open because it's gorgeous out, but last year, 2018. Okay, so we are now on an elevator. Me, Rodney, and a very sassy and unhappy transport. Who, by the way, if I had it in me, I would have yelled at and said, "Seriously, dude? Where were you, on a smoke break? What, did you have to move your car to a better parking spot? Why did you leave me alone, left there to die?" A little dramatic. So instead, I just ignored him, even though the whole time he was like this on the elevator. So I'm looking at Rodney and I'm saying, "Okay, what's the details?" And Rodney goes, "Why don't we just wait till we get to the room and the kids are all there and we'll just talk then." And I'm thinking, I don't blame you. I don't want old sassy pants over here hearing my story either, but I didn't care at this point. I just need to know what was going on. Did I have any guts left, or was I gutless at this point? Okay. So finally, old sassy pants wheels me into my room and the door opens and I'm like, surrounded by happy faces. I looked around the room and there's my kids. They're smiling and they're like, "Yay, you did it, Mom. Now you're alive." And I could tell inside they're like, "Oh, we've got to tell her this really bad news." But what they didn't know, I already knew. So I was okay. And so the nurses get me all hooked up and they're putting electrodes on me. And I thought I could light this room. I have so much electricity running through my body. I had tubes going in and out of every orifice, and it was a sight to behold. And so finally they get me all hooked up and they go, "Okay, we'll come in and check on you in a little bit." And then all of a sudden my kids pull in closer to the bed and this is what I see. Seriously. They bought me this at the gift shop. Okay, here's the funny story. They said, "I really love flamingos." And they said, "Oh, we went down to get you something." And they had this perfect flamingo down there. And we're like, "Oh, Mom would like that." And then they said, and then we looked over and we saw this mangy critter. And we went, "No, this is a lot more like Mom. Still likes big hair, still likes to be fancy, a little rough for the wear. She's been through some things." But she's still showing her stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, that is the most perfect gift ever. And so I have this little flamingo girl sitting in my office. And when I look at her, she just makes me smile because it's like, girl, I feel you. I know. It's hard to be a flamingo in a world full of penguins. Especially when you've been beat up and you've molted and you've lost half your feathers, but we're in there still fighting for the flamingo. So yeah, so she's my reward for making it through surgery. And I'm going to post a picture down below because as soon as I was able to take a picture, I wanted to take a picture to send to all of my prayer team so that I could let them know I was alive and living. And it's hilarious because when you look at the picture, when I was a kid, don't judge me on this age thing, the Mr. Potato Head, you could actually just buy the parts and then you used a real potato and you stuck the parts on. And sometimes if Mom didn't want to give me a big potato, she would just give me like a little wrinkly, shriveled up one. It was all wrinkly and all pruny. She's like, "Here, you can play with this one." And I would still stick the little eyes and nose and mouth and stuff on. And I'd be like, "Oh, this is my..." That's what I look like in the picture. Seriously, if you look, all of my features are too big for my head. I'm all wrinkly and pruny and I'm an off color. Yeah, it was pitiful. But in my mind, I'm like, rocking it. Just been through major surgery. Woo! Got my lipstick on. So yeah, I'll post that picture down there. But today what I want to talk about is after surgery or after a trial. Okay, I'm relating to you guys from my surgery thing. But I know that there are people out there who are struggling with a family member who's having addiction problems, or someone who is struggling financially and they're about to lose everything, or they have lost everything. That's even worse. Kind of like sickness, and now you've got this major diagnosis. And it's amazing how we think, well, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I've got you, you've got this thing. That's fine. And sometimes that's all that the person wants. But let me give you a little bit of a history of what happened to me when I came home. Okay, first of all, before they would even let me out of the hospital, I had to take several transfusions because, as the picture will show, I was like as white as a ghost. And every time I'd stand up, I'm like, ooh, it's so spinny in here. Why is it so spinny? And so they determined that I needed some new blood. Because apparently mine said, I'm splitting. Me and Tommy, we've bonded. My blood went with Tommy. And so they gave me my first packet, and I'm like, oh boy, that really was like, muscles. I feel much better. And then I started thinking, wow, I sure hope I got blood from somebody that was like a opera singer or like a mathematician or perhaps a ballroom dancer. Something that in my nature I'm totally lacking. And so maybe if I get the DNA blood works from someone who has those gifts, maybe I will in turn gather new gifts. The only thing I've really noticed that I have since the transfusion is more of a desire to eat cupcakes every day. So I think I got the blood of a baker. I don't know, but hey, whoever it was, thank you so much for donating. It saved my life, and I'm not exaggerating. Okay, get through the first one. Second, and the lady that was giving it to me, she was just visiting with me, and we were talking, and just, well, I couldn't talk much or laugh much because no abs. I'm like, but she was so friendly, and I thought, oh, we've really bonded. I think she's my new best friend. Oh, these people are so nice. And so the next day they go, look, you're still really low, so we're going to give you another thing of blood. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, why can't I just drink it? You would think you could just like V8 juice, just slam it down, but no, it's got to go in V through the IV. And so she goes, sign this form. And I'm like, I know, I had to sign this form yesterday. What does this mean? And she goes, well, getting a blood transfusion is very dangerous. She said, the second it hits your system, you could literally go into shock, you could start seizuring, and you could die. And I'm thinking, nobody told me that yesterday on that form. I guess I should have read it before I signed it. And I'm like, is that really a thing? And she goes, oh yeah, it's actually somewhat common. And so she goes, we do everything we can to make sure it's a perfect match. But sometimes it's not a perfect match, and so your body will reject it. And so we usually have someone stay with you and visit with you for the first 10 or 15 minutes of the transfusion, just to make sure that you aren't going into shock. And I'm thinking, not only now do I know that you're about to give me something that could kill me, that lady wasn't my best friend yesterday. She was just there to make sure I didn't die. Which I guess technically is a good friend, so I forgive her. And so, yeah, so now I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I feared no evil yesterday, or yesterday, because this was now today, in the surgery. But now I'm sitting here thinking, I literally have to watch that little red line go down that tube, and it's like, oh, it's getting closer. Oh my God, here it goes. It's going in my skin. Am I seeing you, Jesus? Nope, still at the hospital. Am I seeing you now, Jesus? Nope, okay. Yeah, and so I'm thinking, I'm looking at the clock, and it's like every tick of the second, because I finally said, how long, will I have a result here if this is going to be negative? And she goes, usually within the first 10 minutes, someone will go into shock or die. And I'm like, seriously, you need to work on your delivery. Couldn't you soften the blow? And so I'm watching and I'm like, you know what? I could sit here and have a panic attack for every second or every drip. And then I just went, seriously, after what I made it through, God is still God. God is on the throne. I just prayed over the blood while she was still talking. She was telling me her life history about how she became a nurse and all that. And my eyes were closed and she kept going, are you okay? I'm like, yep, just paying attention. Because inside I'm going, God, I just trust that this blood is life-giving. You can touch this blood. I don't care if it's the blood of a cow. If you touch it and make it alive in my body, it will give me strength and it will give me health. And that's what I believe. And then I just started praying for the person who gave me blood. And I said, God, I don't know who it was. If I just visioned in my mind a sweet little librarian lady in her late 60s who just, maybe her son needed transfusions when he was a kid. And she's just like, I want to pay it forward and give back to those who gave to us. And I'm like, God, just bless whoever gave me this blood. Rodney said it was probably someone who needed money for drugs and alcohol. Nothing like keeping me humble. But anyway, so we make it through that, and then after a lovely 4-day, 3-night stay at El Casa de St. Luke's Hospital, they sent me home. Longest drive of my life, because Rodney could have ran over a caterpillar, and I'm like, stop hitting those bumps. Oh, when your guts are loose, because they had to remove them to check everything. I keep thinking they had like a dust buster and they pulled everything out, just cleaned it out and put everything back in. It's like, where does the liver go? I don't know. Just throw it back in there. We've been in here 6 hours. Just shove it in there. Well, I'm not even sure if this one's hers. And it's good enough. Just go ahead. She'll be fine. So all of my guts are loose in there. And seriously, even the wind blowing, I'm like, oh, and poor Rodney. What he finally said was, look, no matter what happens, it's going to be painful. So my thinking is, let's just get it done fast. So rather than go, oh, here comes a bump. Oh, let's go slow. Rodney's just like, hit it. Because in his mind, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Let's hurry up and get you home. By the time we drove the hour to get home, I literally couldn't even make it up the steps to the house. I walked into the downstairs bedroom and I'm like, I just need to rest a little bit. And I crashed for about an hour. Okay, this is the boring part of the story, but I need to document it for me. In my house, we have steps and things like that. And so my house had became what looked like a convalescent center. I think that's the word, or a nursing home. My family had recliners put in like the bedroom. They put a recliner in the front room when we usually have it in the family room. And my daughter, when I got home, literally by herself, had moved a whole recliner upstairs and got it all set. We had TV trays everywhere with bottles of water and bendy straws because I couldn't lean up, and I was pitiful. I had to put a step stool by my bed to even get in and out of the bed. We had, in the mornings to take a shower, my darling husband would literally go pick me out clothes. He didn't do too bad. Some days I was like, He would get my towels and set them on a high place in the bathroom so that I didn't have to bend over. He would get me lightweight towels because the heavy ones were hard when I was right out of surgery. I had to take blood thinner shots for the first 28 days. That was not fun. And he would, every morning, he goes, I know how hard this is for you. So he would set it by the recliner in the bedroom. He would get me breakfast first, and Chelsea would cook, or Rodney, or something. They would go get me breakfast. I got whatever I wanted to eat anytime. It was amazing. And he would set out the shot. Do you want me to give you these shots? And I'm like, no. These shots make me angry. I have to do it myself so that I don't yell at anybody else. And I had to give them to myself in my belly. Okay, so here's the deal. I talked to nurses and I'm like, please help me. And they're like, okay, pinch it, do all that. I tried everything. And the only way I could get through that shot every morning was, first of all, I'd have to pray and I'd say, God, this makes me angry. And I'm so sorry. I'm not angry at you, but I'm angry at the situation now. And before I do it, I would freeze every time. And so all I could do was squeeze an area. And then literally, this is what I do. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Every day. First of all, I don't know why that song my mind chose to sing. And I don't know why, but it was almost like it drowned out the sound of everything happening. Mind you, they were a needle the size of a hair, and there was only like this much juice in it. But I swear, it was like a bazooka trying to shoot in cement. But we made it through. And plus, I had notes from the doctors, and I had paperwork from the insurance company, and we just started a stack, and they were on the thing. And then we would have the sweetest, kindest, most loving people that would come by and bring us meals. And so I was trying to write down who brought us what so I would remember to thank them. It literally looked like a hospital room / nursing home. It was awful. And every morning I would wake up and I'm like, I can't get out of bed unless I step on my little step stool. And I have the shot first thing in the morning. And now I've got to go, and I needed to walk. So I could only walk around the front room, dining room. And it's just like, oh my God, I can't stand this. It's a constant reminder of weakness and I can't take it anymore. So slowly but surely, I said, let's start getting rid of stuff. First, I didn't need all the paperwork. Let's get rid of it. We put things in files and folders and got rid of them. I still had to take my shots every day. I still sing glory, hallelujah. I wish I could say with great confidence that I found a better way of doing it, and I didn't. So for anyone out there who's a diabetic that has to take shots, just know I have the greatest respect for you. But all of that to be said, once I started getting back to me and able to, I'm still fixing my hair and doing makeup. My doctor came in the day after surgery. She goes, "Do you seriously, you have on makeup?" Girl, I may have just went through a major surgery and you may have just said that there's cancer in there, but that is no excuse to not put my best face forward. Vanity, vanity, all things are vanity. But anyway, we slowly started getting back to a normal way of life. And that was when I knew, okay, we're going to make it. But I still had that hanging over my head of all the biopsies, because she was convinced, she thought she had got it all. But she said, I can't guarantee it until all the samplings come back. So several days into it, I get a phone call. I was sitting in the recliner. I had just given myself a shot, so I was still fussing and fuming. And I answer the phone. "Hello? Stacy, this is Dr. Rowland's nurse." "Yeah." "Dr. Rowland wants you to know that all of your tests came back negative. No cancer anywhere. She got it all." And I'm like, and she goes, "And she'll see you in 3 months. And just call if you need us." I said, "No, when I'm saying and, I expect you to say there was no cancer, but." And she goes, "No, there's no but." And I go, "Wait a minute. You're telling me that there is no cancer in my body?" "Yes." "Wait a minute. Wait, but?" I literally couldn't wrap my brain around it. I wanted to jump up and down, but I'm afraid I would pop the spleen. So I couldn't do that. And so that phone call to Rodney and to my family to say, through tears, through sobbing, God spared my life. Not because I'm special, you guys. I want you to all know, I'm telling you my story to encourage you that if you're going through a trial, never, ever, ever stop believing. Never stop believing. Mine didn't turn out like I expected, but it's a much better story to tell. And it's much more of a story of God's grace, His mercy, and His strength. I really wanted a miraculous poof, it's just gone. But it didn't work that way. But I didn't stop believing at all. Even when I said, "God, please, I just don't want a lot of tests and a lot of medication." Guess what, guys? After the surgery, they wanted to fill me full of a lot of painkillers. I'm not saying I'm a martyr. I'm not saying I'm somebody special. I'm not going, "I didn't have to take anything." No, I'm saying humbly, "God, please, you know I can't handle these things because of the side effects. Please, out of your grace and mercy, just keep me from having to take a lot of medication." I went through a major surgery, you guys, and this is all I took. They gave me shots in my tummy of Novocaine right immediately after the surgery that they said would wear off over 12 hours. From that point on, I just took Tylenol and ibuprofen. Not because I'm special, but because God miraculously gave me that gift, because He knew I didn't really want that. Fast forward to after all of the tests, or not the tests, after all of the results came back and the consultation with the doctor, no chemo needed, no radiation needed, no other medication needed. Seriously, you guys. I'm not saying this because I'm special or because I have greater power than anyone else. I'm saying it because this is how my story turned out. All I know is I was blind, but now I see. Scriptural reference. I wasn't really blind. Thought I should clarify. But I want to encourage anyone that's going through something, don't stop believing. Even if you get a no, keep believing. Even if you get a not that way, keep believing. Even if you're saying, "But God, in my mind, it would have been better if you went this direction." God says, "I've read the end of the story. I know what's best. Do you trust me?" Keep trusting Him today. Okay, gonna go in today, show the world that I could be losing half my feathers, but you know what? I can still be a flamingo in a world full of penguins. Go out and be a flamingo today, guys. Well, guys, you don't go be a flamingo. Well, if you want to be a flamingo, I don't want to judge. So, all right. Love you guys. Tomorrow's the last one. I'm happy and sad all at the same time. I hope you feel the same way. Talk to you soon.